Well, I probably won't do too much introduction for the next two. We've got Jesse, our Senior Product Specialist, and Dale, who's Head of Growth, going to run you through a couple of enhancements that we've just released. One of you guys come up.
Thank you. Hi everybody, and thanks for coming, and really appreciate it. Great turnout and really excited about this. I was in the US last week actually at a parking convention for California. We were talking about using AI for answering emails and a few odds and ends like that. So it's amazing to see AI being implemented actually in the physical products here. And we saw a few presentations, actually one from a major university, and they were dreaming about some of the stuff that Oricam was just talking about. They were sort of talking about, oh, in the future we'll be able to do all of this and that. So it's amazing how far ahead we are here in technology. And I mean, there's probably all sorts of reasons behind that. We always have been a bit, but it's really remarkable. So thank you very much for that, Oricam as well, and everybody else who's done the presentations, appreciate it. Just a little background for those of you that don't know us, I think everybody does, but UbiPark is a B2B provider for digital parking solutions, and so a lot of what we're talking about today will be digital. And we've formed in 2013 and have been working in this space, really in the B2B space, probably about 6 years now, but with a lot of experience in parking. So if you have any questions about parking, we're here. So we're going to be really quick. Lunch is after this. But we're going to talk about Reservations 2.0, which is obviously we've got a reservation platform, but we're going to, we've just refreshed it and we're actually about to release 3.0, so we're going to probably jump over this a little bit. We'll show you quickly about what this looks like and some of the things that we've added to the reservation platform. The reservation platform's well tested. It's here at Marvel Stadium, it has been for years. Also at places like Hobart Airport, but we're adding a lot more features to it now, so now that it's fully tested out. And then we're going to talk about just a couple of interesting case studies from this year. Did you want to
yeah, I guess we'll
go through this rather than... I threw a few slides in here, but we might just do a live demo instead.
Yeah, nothing ever goes wrong with a live demo.
Yeah, so I've got the backup of the slides just in case.
Cool.
We're having it on the screen. Excellent.
There we go, look at that. No, I can't see it. Okay, cool. So this is, I guess, the Reservation 2.0. It's a little bit of a refreshed one. There's a few things that have sort of changed, but really it's just trying to redirect people. Some of the things that we will be able to do as well is utilize more white space to direct users to where you potentially want them to go as well as a part of it. But we've kept it really simple today, which is just, hey, where are you actually parking? We can direct people, directly to the car park if we need to, but otherwise, if you've got a few things there and you just want to have like a one-stop shop, we can do that. So I'll just go to, let's say 123 Church Street, which is one of our old places that we hung out. And let's just go ahead and let's say I'm coming in, let's say tomorrow from, I don't want to get up too early. And we'll leave at about maybe a half day. Sounds about good to me, especially after tonight. So I'll go 1:30 and we'll sort of go search. And then we've just done a little bit of a facelift here as well. So a lot of this can be, as usual with a lot of UbiPark stuff, can be completely branded up to make it look like whatever it is that you want it to look like with different colors. We've obviously, I believe Mohawk probably used a bit of AI there to get the early bird parking stuff, which looks quite nice, actually, a little tweet. But this is it. So we can display all of the different products, and depending on the type of offerings that you also have, if you want to try to direct them to monthly parking or events or anything else, we can also have that here in like nice little tabs as well. Again, I've kept it really simple sort of today. But a user, again, we're just trying to get them to go through that journey really simply, as well as being able to, where you're actually going. This will, depending on the, this can be obviously, this is an image, this can be filled with whatever you want it to be. Hobart Airport, for example, has a really nice image of their place. Being able to direct people to what your opening hours are really simply as well, and notifying them when they're actually closed is handy. But one of the really cool things is once you've found what you actually want to do, is now we once again try to get them to go to the next stage too, being like, cool, we know that, for example, you come in every day, but did you know that we actually offer monthly parking? We try to get them to upsell, go to that next stage, and just try to, again, drive revenue and more offerings. So if I wanted to upgrade that, I can just hit that upgrade option, say, you know what, actually, I'm sick of doing this every single day. I just want a pass that just gives me access. We collect their details. We can always collect more or less details. Everything's super configurable as per usual. But let me, we'll just create an account really quickly. And permit, let's say, I don't know, I've got a fair few accounts. Cool, and this one's a checkout as a guest if I want to, or if I wanted to create an account at the same time, we can do that as well. So either or will work here. And then it's just a normal checkout journey using obviously Stripe at this point. And with that, what we can also do, can't do it here in the test, but any sort of payment methods that we can just turn on that you want to offer is really easy in this as well. You know, if you had Apple Pay, I don't because I don't use that platform, Android all the way. So Apple Pay, Google Pay, Amex obviously is obviously there, and then a whole bunch of other small things are also available. But we'll just finish this off.
I think we potentially could offer, what's it called, where you pay for installments?
Yeah, buy now, pay later is also available.
Not sure if it's applicable to parking, but it's there. That's their basic Stripe product.
Yeah, we definitely think there's...
Definitely applicable to parking. We're seeing some universities maybe offering students for a yearly permit.
Yeah.
And you could think, operators could offer a yearly pass that can be paid off by now, pay later.
Don't copy that test credit card, of course. And then, that's kind of the process there. The other part that comes to the back of this too is we sort of noticed as we're going through that certain places, like airports especially, often have like affiliate links, or they have like associations with car rental companies or whatever else that sort of pops up. So being able to put additional things at the end of the journey that just directs users to other areas as well. Like, hey, cool, we've booked out, but did you know that, I guess in the case of Hobart Airport, that you can get a Hertz car or a hotel booking or anything along those lines. So these can just be filled up with whatever you kind of want there.
So these particular products like car washes and stuff, if they were offered by your business or you had an association with somebody on the property, you could easily put them into the shopping journey itself. And so as they purchase the parking, they might upgrade, but then they might be offered, would you like a car wash? And then put that into the basket as well. So, and then the affiliates could be at the end as well. So there's multiple stages of upsell.
Yeah, so that's a big driver of it, and then really just ease of access for users, right? Like the easier it is for them to actually make the booking, the more they will actually make the booking. And then of course, depending on size, depending on locations, if we've got QR code enabling, for example, we can quickly add it to your Apple or Google Wallet as well, which just makes things a lot easier when people try to go and scan things, or they can print it off. So that's that's sort of the reservation 2.0 that we're doing. I guess is sort of live and ready to go from that perspective. There's a whole bunch of other things that we're also looking to implement as well that'll come up in that sort of, Dale said 3.0, but obviously, in that sort of area as well. So, and if anybody has any additional feedback as you sort of utilize things or have, if you've got a specific user journey that you want to think about, we'd love to hear it as well. Because, ultimately we want to make a platform or especially make a reservation journey that actually suits people rather than just what I want.
Yeah. If a car park has a set number of spaces available, has the reservation system stopped from oversubscribing with both critical plus ad hoc attendance?
Yeah, so we've got some things that are built in place to at least help along with that. Mawson will come back here and answer that a little bit.
So if you integrate it directly into the parking system, it knows how many bookings that come in, and then it will close car park is full.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's 50 bookings, there's 100 spaces, or like 50 in car park that goes full.
Good.
In our solution, we can limit by product how many you sell each day, so you guys get to choose what limit that.
And you can even do tranches of different prices. So you could do, these are so many $20, $30, as they sell out, you sell the next batch and the next batch at different rates. So that's an option as well. But it's not a piggyback solution. We integrate with everybody, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit in a second, but we go out of our way to make sure that we're integrated to the product on site. We're not the access control. We're writing to the access control, and then so we're using their credentials. So if they've got license plate recognition, we put the license plate into the booking process, and then you can enter via license plate recognition, but with a QR code as a backup if they've got QR code readers. So we're using whatever credentials you've got on site as well in the current access control solution. No extra hardware is required.
We're doing a university at the moment, I have 3 access credentials, so it'll be license plate, QR code and passcard. So they can use them interchangeable, so they could use license plate on the way in, QR code on the way out, or
Yeah. And we've even done multi-equipment customers where they've got different equipment at different sites. We're completely agnostic to that as well. Yeah. Sorry.
On that occupancy price management piece, can it take the information from the CPMS to then apply to exclusively on high pricing? So if there's a lot of driver coming in, will it get that feedback about the occupancy to then close off keep the Nelson trigger?
Like yield management type side. We're doing most of the yield management based on what Dale was talking about, the levels. So if you sell 5 at, say, you're very, very cheap, so think about the airlines, they sell seats, they've got that hook price, then that sells out, and then you go to the next. So we've been managing it that way. We think it's really hard in Australia. Demand-based pricing has been talked about for years. I've got a tender that we're responding to at the moment that wants demand-based pricing for driver. I just don't think that'll ever get here from where we thought about it might have been a few years ago. But the yield management is something we're developing more and more. The other way of the upgrades is all about getting more yield, higher yield, obviously for airports, Jen, that you've worked in. Also, upgrade journeys where you can send an email out a couple of days prior to the booking and say, do you want to get to valet, for instance, to a higher yielding product. So we're developing that out, and we're happy to chat around some of that yield management stuff.
I'd also say that we're probably a little bit distant from the drive-up stuff because we're hoping to sell the parking a month out or 2 weeks out, a week out. We're not really probably going for on-the-day sales, but definitely I think the opportunity's there, and depending on the
What
project.
we're seeing a real push for in the US, and I think they'll jump bookings. So reservations over there is in some of the larger solutions, but what we're seeing is an Uber style, what we call fast track parking. We see an Uber style account, so register once, put your credit card on, and then you drive in maybe at a discounted rate. Like First Parking is one of our biggest customers. They have 350,000 on their express parking VLP platform, and people are just getting a 20% discount off the drive up rates, and they're getting more out of that than they are through the reservations that they do.
Just as a little hint of what is coming, we're adding loyalty to it at the moment, so that'll be live really soon. So we do want to bring that loyalty in, which I think is invaluable for the, especially for places like airports and stuff like that. Yeah. So talking quickly about integrations, this is just a sample of some of the integrations, some that we've done, in the last sort of 18 months or so, 2 years. You can see on the left most of the park solutions in Australia. I hope I haven't missed any there, but we're even some very localised products. And all of the major ones are there. We just actually did a Mano for some projects in Boston, in the US. So they're quite big over there and quite excited about that. But we obviously do quite a lot in Australia with all the other providers. Access control. As I said, we're agnostic about the equipment, but also we're doing a lot of places like universities where they've got access control, but they don't have parks systems. So we're using potentially their pass cards, their LPR, their QR codes. So we're doing something with the University of Tasmania at the moment, where it's Gallagher, and there's access control cards and QR code readers. So access control, and then the other one is, the other thing that we're seeing more of is things like SSO, single sign-on. So when you log into your account at work, you're logged into your parking. It's got some great advantages as well, because often if you leave a business, the first thing they do is turn off your IT access. So that way we can control who's actually got access via who's in the IT system. Payroll solutions for hospitals, third-party apps. So you can see there's quite a lot there. Q-Free is something you'll hear about in a second. But we're integrating when we integrate with someone like IP Parking or the Signa or Hub, we can use whatever the LPR they're using. We don't have to integrate with the LPR. We're integrated because we're integrated to their system. So we just write the plate, and then they handle all the integration on that side as well. So we work with a whole bunch of different solutions. So I just wanted to talk quickly about 2 small projects. Melbourne Airport bus management.
Small.
We can probably show a little bit of this, yeah?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, but just, we'll quickly...
Oh, you talk first, yeah.
Sorry. We won an award, so Parking Australia Award. Thank you very much, everybody. But this is actually the third time we've won this award, which is for innovation and technology off street, and twice 2 years in a row. So we're really proud of that, obviously. Integrated there with Q3. Q3 has license plate recognition there, and where they pick up all the buses as they go through, and we do all of the management. It's sort of basically a toll solution, but quite advanced because there's 280 bus companies. They all have different restrictions. They've got access to different terminals. They're billed, is it on the minute or something crazy like that? It's quite complex, the billing there. And the great thing is there we had one of the bus companies that said that they didn't like the new system, which probably because they didn't like being charged. And as you said there, we've been lucky enough to increase the revenue on site by 20%, so that's great. We can jump in and show them quickly.
So this one's a little bit more involved.
So we went there from an invoicing solution to an e-wallet solution. So the bus companies put money into an account. We draw down on the account as an e-wallet, like a Transurban tag or whatever, and then we auto top that up.
So I'll just quickly show this. So part of the migration process was getting all of the bus companies, the 280 or whatever it ended up being in the end, to basically register their company on this page, which would just allow them to go through, and obviously we collect all the important information. So one of the things that was really crucial for them is working out the throughput that this particular company would have, and this would actually go on and dictate the store value wallet that they would have to set up, right? So if there's someone that only comes in once a day, what have we written there? Apparently a couple of things. If you only come in like under 49 visits per day, for example, you may not want to store so much money on your wallet at any one time, because it's, I'd prefer to have that money in my bank account than on somebody else's. Otherwise, if I'm in there 150 times a day, we obviously need to store a lot more money, because the throughput you have would just be drawing down on that pretty quickly. So this was pretty important as a part of that. And then we would just, collect the details of the company, who they are, who the company actually is. One of the other really important parts of it was also making sure that we grab their accreditation documentation, because there was a whole approval process that was around this to actually, identify that they are who they say they are. So it was a really important part of that. The secondary part of that too was also making sure that this information then is transferred and stored on Melbourne Airport's servers as well. We're obviously very conscious of privacy concerns and things like that, so whatever we don't store in our system, we would prefer not to, and that was one of the pieces there.
So, we collect it, pass it across, and then blow it away out of our system, so it's not being stored in the UbiPark platform.
So I'll log into an account, that way you're going to see me just type it in, 47 fields. And what I probably should have turned off for this is, well, actually probably not. So the other part that was really important to this, so Dale talked a little about SSO, but the other thing that was sort of added to the system as well is multi-factor authentication. So again, just making sure that accounts are as secure as they possibly can be. So we've got it linked up to MFA, so just come through. It's just like how authentication works in a lot of other things, but the fact that we have it is very, very important, especially for some of these larger organizations and tender requirements. So if I got the right code there. And cool, so now we can sort of log in, and this is our account. So this has already been a pre-approved sort of process. So once a company registers, an admin staff from Melbourne Airport will go in there and they will approve or reject the user. Once they've been approved, they just log back into their system, and now the rest of it can kick off. So you'll see I've already chucked in $485 into my wallet, and that's an auto top up. So we've got a couple of different options depending on what's required. So we can manually top up if we want to. So we can see that our balance is getting low. We can come in here, and this is a really simple version of it, but I can put in whatever numbers I want here, or a customized amount, which is great. Or alternatively, what was more preferred at Melbourne Airport was an auto top-up feature as well. So you'll see that because I was at high volume, we wanted more of our top-up amounts on that screen there. So in this case, when the balance goes below, $485, I guess we're going to hit that wallet again to top that up. So it was really big on trying to make sure that Melbourne Airport never went into the negatives, and we always had, these users were always like in front of their payment solution as well. So that's what all that was about. In addition to this, along with the additional payment options, direct debit was also added too, just because we can, it's a little bit easier to hit some of those larger amounts that aren't tied directly to a credit card. So that was just really handy to have and build in. And this is something that's built into the UbiPark platform. It's not a Melbourne Airport specific thing. So, we've made it so that it's like super customizable. We can change the amounts, we can apply it to certain people, we can turn it off. It can be, customized very heavily. The other big part of their system, which was also making sure that we go and add in all the vehicles to their system as well. They had a secondary step where not only do you need to approve have an accreditation for your business, but you also need to provide proof of registration for all these vehicles as well. So a part of that process was getting that information, tying it to a particular type of vehicle. So over at Melbourne Airport, depending on the type of vehicle you drive, determines the type of rates that are charged. It was a very complicated rate structure, along with go-around rates, multi-zone rates, and then different types of buses. There was a fair bit going on there actually, and Will did a lot of work trying to get that going. Yeah, trailer, no trailer, all that good stuff there. So yeah, you pick what you are, you upload your documentation, and then there's another approval step from Melbourne Airport. So that's what we did to get the 280 bus companies on at Melbourne Airport, and 99% of them did it with no issue at all. It actually went really, really well there for the registration piece, which was awesome because that's a big job.
So the same solution's going into Sunshine Coast as we speak. It'll be live 1st of December.
1st of December, yeah. So registration's gone out for that one as well yesterday.
Jesse's busy rolling.
Everything has to be done before Christmas.
Yeah, lots of fun, that one.
But you can there's also use cases for this solution. So we are looking at some universities where obviously departments or fleet cars, where you can add vehicles to it. So there's different use cases that you can probably think about in your business that this could be used for. Airports have been, not just for bus companies, but you can also manage all your staff parking, say Qantas for instance. You can manage all the different departments at Qantas. We can attach account codes to them, which is obviously going to be different with some of the airports. And that can be then tracked on the reporting and sent back, obviously, if there's a price to be paid, whether that's paid by, say, Qantas directly to the airport, or it's being paid by the staff member. Joel, do you have a question?
No, I was just going to ask, just confirm the method of UbiCollaborate goes.
Yeah, so again, we're not focused. We'll use whatever the customer wants to use.
Give me that right?
So this one was Q-Through, integrated into the LPR system, obviously with their tolling solutions that they have. So that was, there was a team that went out, we were sort of bid as partners of a couple of bids, Q-Through being one of them, Gary being the other. Gary lost out. And then they split the tender out and contracted Q-Through directly for the LPR and contracted us directly for the bus payment system. There was the taxi management went out at the same time that state was skinned up.
Cool. And then this is the last one. We're going to talk now about the SAN Hospital. This is just a really interesting solution that we're really excited about. There's a SAN Hospitals in Sydney. It's got currently an older access control system that's in the process of being replaced. And you'll meet IPG today, and we'll talk about they're running the property. But they needed an interim solution to get the staff in and out of the parking. And they were on an access control system that was part of the hospital, and now they were taking it over. We needed something that was sort of lightweight and easy to install, and we went with an intercom solution. So this is the 2N intercom. That's from the Access Communication Group. We're going to hear from them later. It's as you can see, it's just an intercom, but it's got an output to the barrier, and it's got a camera on it. And so we're reading QR codes with the camera on the intercom and using it as an access control solution. Will wrote some software on it, so it has fully anti-passback on it. and we're using it as a lightweight parking solution until the new access control goes in. Yeah, so just...
The main thing had to be cheap for rent. That's cost.
Low cost, yeah. But it's a really rugged intercom, IK9, IK10, which means you can hit it with a sledgehammer, etc. And you know the staff can log on. They've got an account very similar to what you saw there. They can have a QR code in their phone, or a lot of them are printing them, I think, and putting them on the back of their pass cards. Haven't quite worked out their phone wallets yet. But it works really well. Plus, you get an intercom built in, and you get a video recording as well built in. So when we get people saying it doesn't work, we've actually got video footage of them waving their phones around and banging their phones on the thing as if it's a pass card. So I'm really excited about that one. If anyone wants to have a look, I'll leave it out here. So that's really what we're going to talk about today. Yeah.
Any more questions?
And it can integrate with other hardware.
Oh yes, sorry, that's right.
The LPR.
Because it's part of the Access Access world, we can put Access LPR cameras onto it, so we can have LPR with QR code backup, and it's a full access control system in the background. Yeah.
Any more questions? Yes, Steve.
Do you integrate with direct debit bank accounts?
We do.
And salary reductions?
We do. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of payroll stuff. You'll hear a bit more about the Monash, which is probably the biggest one. We've got around 20,000 staff. Each fortnight, a file gets imported into the SAP payroll system automatically. We're in the midst of doing Northern Health at the moment. Same solution. We've got a lot of different salary packaging integrations. Direct debit's been turned on for Melbourne Airport. Pay 2, it will be turned on. So Pay 2 allow you to use a bank account like a credit card, pretty much. So it'll be instant like the credit card is. So you know if there's a failed payment straight away. But the cost is a lot lower because it's coming from your bank account, not the credit card. So the aim is we'll be trying that here with Marvel Stadium next month, and then ready to roll that out for other customers. We definitely see buy now, pay later options for customers, especially in the university space where students may want to buy a yearly permit but they can't afford to. And this might give them the opportunity to take the discounted yearly permit. Mount Hotham have a $800 permit, season permit. People who haven't been able to afford that, they may be able to afford that in that space as well. And that's all stuff that can be turned onto the platform pretty much straight away. Like I think with what we were saying with Kira earlier, we're doing Union Pay, we're doing Google and Apple wallets. I'm sure I missed stuff, but we turn Amex on to the people that want it with a little bit extra in the fees to cover the Amex fees. It's obviously big in the US. The Amex is pretty much standard over there.
Things in the US like Discovery Card, which and even some of the Chinese payment methods, WeChat, it's all available. That's the great thing about the Stripe platform.
Union Pay is probably like First Parking were pushing us for Union Pay, and that was a tick box turn on in the Stripe platform. And I didn't realise how many millions of users in Australia using Union Pay, for example. So I always see some real growth through there. Any other questions?
Especially for us, for some of the administrators, those could be a little more interactive. Like, for example, if there's Google that requires just sending locations, so there's just more messaging so that I don't have to do things on one and we can't make it go and search through it. So it's more interactive.
Yeah. So more notifications for the admin?
Yeah.
So there's some notifications we can turn off. We probably do a bit of a chat fees and maybe have a look at what, we've been a while since we did your project. Maybe there's some stuff we can turn on to give you some more notifications. So we can notify you every time there's an approval process. You can get the email, or you can get it once a day and then get in and jump in and do those approvals. So maybe having a chat to Will around what notifications.
Jesse.
I was going to say, I'm right. Please. Trying to replace me with AI, and it's already moved on. Also, if you look to your left, Mo is our head of product. I would love to hear some feedback as well.
We are looking at a product specialist bot so we can replace Jesse in the system. No, Jesse, one of the or the team, obviously, not just Jesse, and the team sort of get together and brainstorm ideas. We get feedback from customers that are going through Mo's product reviews and what spits out. One of the ideas is a product specialist bot, similar to what Bert was talking about in using AI. So, how do I create a new group? Because we know people might create a group at the start of the project and then never create another parking group until 2 years down the track. And then they've got to come back to us to help them. So this is about how do we help you guys do this stuff without coming back to us.
And I think that goes a little bit to the philosophy as well. The philosophy is that it's your product. You own the data in the product. It's a B2B product. And so, we want it to be a tool that you work with like it's your own tool. We're not trying to sell it to the customer and then push the customers onto you. It's your product. So we'd love to talk to you more about anything that's there. But quite a lot of it you might find might already be there. It's just not left on here.
Any other questions? Great. Thank you, Dale and Jesse. No present for you guys.